Hello and welcome. I'm Carolyn Grimminger with the Public Affairs Forum of the First Unitarian Universalist Church of Austin. Our program's mission is to nourish mind and spirit and serve social justice. Our forums occur most Sundays at noon and are free and open to the public. We encourage you to attend. Our church is located physically at 4700 Grover Avenue. For more information about our Public Affairs Forum and the church in general, you can go to our website at www.austinuu.org. I would now like to introduce our speaker today, Catherine O'Toole. After a very serious cancer diagnosis, Catherine investigated into who got cancer and why. It was during that research she came across the toxic chemicals that are in the everyday products used to build, furnish, and decorate our homes. Catherine's mission is to educate on how home furnishings and building products contribute to serious health issues such as cancer, infertility, and asthma, just to name a few. Along with bringing awareness of the toxic chemicals in products, Catherine will present easy tips and alternative options to create a healthier home. Catherine hails from Ireland, and before starting Green for a Reason, she had a 10-year career in the fashion industry in New York City. She's a believer in do what you love and everything else will fall into place. In her 30s, Catherine left corporate America and backpacked around the world by herself for 3 years. While traveling there, she met a Texas Prince Charming. Let's welcome Catherine O'Toole.
Thank you, everybody. I am not a cancer survivor. I'm a cancer conqueror. I decided that I needed to do the research and find out who got cancer, why they got cancer, and so that I could create a path for myself, a prevention path, so that cancer would never happen to me again. I continue to fight the cancer mountain every single day, and I will continue to do so for the rest of my life. I wanted to tell you a little bit about me, how I got to this point, why I started Green for a Reason. And the real reason behind it was because when I found out about the chemicals, I wanted to share that information with all of you so you could create a prevention pathway for yourself, your children, your grandchildren. So we'll start today with a little bit about me, my story, a little bit about Green for a Reason, what you can do to prevent toxins in your home, and at the end we will have lots of questions and answers. The 3 E's. We all know about the 3 E's, right? Eating, exercise, and our environment. Everybody has been told, eat healthy and exercise. I'll touch off these two a little bit because both of these are part of my life and they are extremely important. But where I'm going to spend most of my time is talking about the environment in our home, and prevention. There are doctors, nutritionists, naturopaths, and fitness coaches who will dive much more deeply into eating healthy and exercise. So I'll start off with this beautiful picture of Ireland. This is where I was born and raised. These green pastures that you're looking at on the screen are where generations of farmers who are my generation, my lineage, they were all born and raised. On this land, it was where the grass-fed beef and the grass-fed lamb was raised, where the potatoes were grown and some of the vegetables we ate daily were grown. I was born and raised on a very clean diet. My mom cooked our meals every single day from scratch. My mom owned the local grocery store, and we never got junk food from the grocery store. The shop and the house was all one building, and even though the candy was there and the sweets and the sodas, we were never forbidden them, but we were never given them, so it never became a habit for us to eat junk food. We got soda on Christmas Day. So growing up, it was, as I say, a very clean diet, and I continued on that clean diet for my entire life. Just to give you an idea, this is on the east coast of Ireland, looking out over the Irish Sea. And from the east coast of Ireland to the west coast of Wales, it's about 50 miles. And on a clear day, my brother can see Wales and Wales. The other thing that I'd like to talk a little bit about is exercise. Growing up, my father used to say, I don't understand a group of grown men running around a field after a bag of wind. That was my introduction to exercise. But in school, primary school and secondary school, and as a young adult, I tried everything. Tennis, swimming, cycling, hiking, biking, rollerblading, you name it. I tried it all, joined a gym, but nothing ever stuck. It wasn't until about a year and a half ago, through Team Survivor. Does anybody here know Team Survivor? Team Survivor here in town. They introduced me to rowing. While I love being on the water, I don't need to be in the water. So I headed down to Ladybird Lake, and I fell in love. It is my dream sport. I cannot wait until Saturday mornings until I get down at 9:30 in the morning and get on the lake and row. And why I share this with you is because we all need to exercise. We need to release those toxins out of our body through our sweat. If you haven't found a sport that you love, I recommend keep trying. I never thought that a year and a half ago that I would have a dream sport that I could relate to. Even if it's just walking, you need to release the toxins out of your body by creating sweat. And these are toxins that are created through products in our home, through our environment. So right out of college, I hit the bright city lights of New York City. I came from a village of 250. I moved to a city of about 3 million. And on a work day, that was like 6 million. And I loved it. It was fast, it was furious. And I had this 10-year career. I worked for Jeffrey Bean and Ralph Lauren. And after about 10 years, I realized I was a hamster on a hamster wheel going around and around and around. Work, home, work, home. So with no commitments, no pets, no plants, I decided to follow a dream I had had since I was that little girl in the shop in Ireland. And that was to backpack around the world by myself. As a 6-year-old, I started working at the shop when I was 6, and I stopped working in it when I went to college, about 18. And I used to see backpackers coming in to the shop, and some of them couldn't speak English. But I was behind the counter, and I was like 6 years old, and they would point at what they wanted. So I would go get them the product, give it to them. They would open their wallets, and I would take the money out of it. So I felt if they could backpack around the world without English, I could clearly backpack around the world. So I headed down into Mexico with only one Spanish word, gracias. And only one rule, that I was going to stay in warm climates. So back in New York, I packed everything I owned into storage, said goodbye to family and friends. The VP of my division told me I was committing career suicide, but I didn't care. The need to get away, the need to fulfill that dream had become so much greater than the life I had been living in New York. So I headed down into Mexico. I backpacked around the world for 3 years by myself. I visited about 36 countries. The only continent I was not on was Antarctica because it's cold. I was about 2 years into my journey when I met a Texan in the south of Spain. In 2005, Don and I were engaged to be married when I was diagnosed with breast cancer. And we were in New York at the time. The doctor said, do surgery, but didn't advise me on exercise, changing my diet, nothing. So I just did what the doctor said. Did surgery. And it was like a blip on my radar. I didn't do anything different. I just, here today, gone tomorrow. It wasn't until 2011 that I was sitting in my car here in Austin. Austin doctor called, and she wanted me to come in to her office. And I said, nope, because I knew if she wanted me to come in, she didn't have good news. The next words out of her mouth were, the news is not good. Went on to tell me that I had been diagnosed as a stage 3C breast cancer. I don't know if you all know about the stages, but they start at 0. The higher they go, the worse the diagnosis is. 0, 1, ABC, 2, ABC, 3, ABC, 4. 4 is treatable, but not curable. So I found myself as a stage 3C. I honestly felt that I was standing on the edge of a cliff with my toes curled over the edge of the cliff, and I did not know what was going to happen next. The next stage, I could fall forward and be a stage 4, or I could pedal backwards as fast and as hard as I could to never have another diagnosis again. So that's when, for me, it was game on. I started the research. I started trying to figure out who got cancer, why they got cancer, and what I could do to prevent cancer ever happening to me again. At this stage, I'd been diagnosed twice. I could not afford to be diagnosed a third time. There are papers out there on eating healthy, and we all have heard of those. There's papers out there on exercise. We've heard of those also. The one thing that hit me like a ton of bricks was the products in our home, and the first one that I came across was vinyl flooring. The amount of toxic chemicals that off-gas from vinyl flooring. The reason I mentioned that little shop in Kilpether when I was growing up was because every couple of years my mother changed out the vinyl flooring in the shop so that the shop would look clean and fresh and new for the customers. Never in a million years would my mother have brought anything into our home that would have hurt us. And she and I both were diagnosed with the same cancer, and it was not hereditary. So that's when I started to delve into more products in our home and found out about paint and furniture and mattresses. And that's why I'm here today doing what I do, because I believe everybody needs to know what they bring into their home and how they can prevent cancer-causing chemicals in their home. I'm going to run through a couple of documented products or about the toxic chemicals that are in our home. So this is from the Merriam-Webster Dictionary, and it's a definition of off-gassing, which I mentioned earlier, the off-gassing of chemicals. Off-gassing is the emission of especially noxious gases, as from building material. I didn't put that in there. That is in the dictionary. Noxious is physically harmful or destructive to living beings. Outgassing or off-gassing is the release of toxic chemicals like phthalates, glycol ethers, formaldehyde, and benzene. And these are all in furniture, mattresses, carpet, and paint. Phthalates. This is from the CDC, the Center for Disease Control. We have phthalates in vinyl flooring, adhesives, detergents, personal care items, products, soaps, shampoos, and nail polish. Phthalates were banned from children's products in 2009. But what parent goes out and buys maybe children's nail polish? Maybe they'll just take their own nail polish and put it on their child. For example, the chemicals that are in nail polish, they soak in through our nail bed and into our bloodstream. Glycol ethers. And this is from the EPA, the Environmental Protection Agency. There's glycol ethers in paint, varnishes, gum, cosmetics, perfumes, dyes, cleaning products, liquid soaps. Glycol ethers cause fatigue, nausea, tremors, anemia, fluid in the lungs, severe liver, and kidney damage. Benzene, OSHA, the Occupational Safety and Health Administration. There's benzene in plastics, detergents, and pesticides. Benzene causes drowsiness, dizziness, unconsciousness, leukemia, and even death. Formaldehyde, the CDC, the Center for Disease Control, they state that formaldehyde causes cancer, but it is still in the products we can bring into our homes every single day. Formaldehyde is known for embalming, it's a preservative, and has antibacterial products. These are a few of the toxic chemicals that we put into our building and furnishing products. I mentioned earlier adhesives, and you may wonder what adhesives, how is there adhesives in my home? Furniture, kitchen cabinets, for example, unless they're made with solid wood, there's adhesives in the plywood, the composite wood that's used. It's the glue in there, for example, that is off-gassing, that we are inhaling. The EPA state that the average home is 2 to 5 times, sometimes 100 times more toxic air indoors than the great outdoors. And there are easy, quick tips that you can do to release these from your home, and they will come later. Did I go back? I went back. Okay. So this is a screenshot from the CDC, and the first top picture is a picture of a living room with cabinets, furniture, upholstery, drapery, and you can see here where the CDC is pointing out that there is formaldehyde in cabinets, in furniture, in our flooring, in our upholstery, in our drapery, in our homes. And the second picture below, you will see 2 homes. One is a newer home from 1990, after 1990, and the older homes, pretty much in the United States, the older homes before 1990, were built with not as much stringent rules as they started in 1990. So what happened in 1990, around 1990, they decided to build homes tighter. So when you run your air conditioner during the summer, that the cold air won't get out and the hot air will get in. So for economical reasons, same during the winter. So your heat won't get out and your air won't get in, the cold air won't get in. I know, I remember, and I don't know if anybody else here remembers, but if you go into an older home and you stand by a window, you can feel the cold air coming in. Or you stand by a door, you can feel the cold air, for example. They built houses much tighter so that we can save on electrical bills or air conditioning or heating. But in doing that, what we've done is we have trapped the toxic chemicals that are in products used to build and furnish our homes. We have trapped those in our homes. And they're not able to get out like they used to be able to. So this is why I started Green for a reason, because after my second diagnosis, I decided that I needed to figure out what should be in my home, what should not be in my home. And I could not dump everything out of my home and buy everything brand new. I had to figure out what needed to go, what needed to stay, and down the road what I needed to replace. Because some products in our home are much more expensive than others. Your average kitchen could off-gas toxic chemicals for 25 years. Your average mattress has anything from 40 to 60 different chemicals in it. So that's why I started Green for a reason, because I learned about the off-gassing, the glues, which are in furniture, for example, the formaldehyde, the flame retardants. Flame retardants that years ago when people used to smoke and get into bed at night and smoke, the flame retardants were put in mattresses back then to stop a fire. I don't smoke in bed, but if I'm asleep in bed and my mattress is on fire, I've died from smoke inhalation. So for me, I don't need flame retardants in my mattress. So I was looking for less toxic products for my home. So step by step, I recommend everybody bring in less toxic, non-toxic products into your home, and I will go through what they are here in a few minutes. I have some images of kitchens, bathrooms, bedrooms that we'll go through just to show you that these non-toxic products are just as beautiful and normal as any other product that you can buy that are chemically laden. This is a kitchen from a home that was built out in Dripping Springs. It's a beautiful home. The whole home was built with that in mind. The owner of the home was very, very bad asthmatic, and he could basically not go anywhere without his inhaler. They built this home. They lived in it for about 4 years. They just sold it, actually. They've lived in it for about 4 years. So the kitchen cabinets, the flooring, the paint, the structure of the home, everything was built in mind for toxic chemicals. He lived in the home about 2 years when I first met him. He didn't even know where his inhaler was. Actually, I just wanted to mention that this home was built by neighbors. This is a small kitchen. It is from Treehouse. This is one of their kitchens from them. This is another example of a beautiful, like, you look at that and you don't know that this is a non-toxic kitchen. You look at a toxic kitchen and you don't know that it's a toxic kitchen, but they are beautiful. They are everything you want them to be. The difference is that the wood used in these is maybe solid wood, or if it is a composite wood, the glues are not a toxic glue to make the wood, to make a composite wood. Furniture is another thing that you should be aware of. Again, the example on these, and these actually are Laura Britt's furniture. She's an interior designer here in town. The solid wood in this furniture would be made, but the finish on it would be a non-toxic, low VOC, no VOC finish, or a paint if you're going to put that on a piece of solid wood furniture. And maybe in the middle of this, it would be an organic latex foam would be in it rather than a regular latex foam, which would have chemicals in it. And then the fabric on the outside would again have no toxic chemicals, because there's chemicals in dyes, there's chemicals in the coloring, there's in the manufacturing of fabrics. So that's what she would do, is go out and research these products and bring clean products to create pieces of furniture. This is just a solid wood piece of furniture that is beautiful and non-toxic. Mattress is one of the, I feel, one of the most important things in your home. We spend a third of our lives sleeping. So if you're age 90, you've spent 30 years sleeping. I know it doesn't feel like that when you're about to get up in the morning, but we spend a lot of time sleeping. Our bedrooms are our safe havens. We're supposed to go to bed at night, sleep, and just rejuvenate from the day or the week. There's chemicals in our sheets, in our blankets, in our mattresses, and in our pillows. So I do have some tips on quick, easy ways to help with that. About 4 or 5 years ago, I met an architect. He designs a home for a lifetime. When I met him, one of the first things that I heard him say was that he designs homes for the health of the people. And I was like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe that everybody's not doing that. Like, why don't all the architects, all the builders have their customers' health in mind when they build, when they design? Laverne has been an architect for over 40 years. He's one of the grandfathers of the green sustainable architects here in Texas. He has designed homes all around Texas and within the United States. I want to just show you Roma Bio paint. It actually comes from Italy. It is a non-toxic paint. Even the low VOC paints that other companies sell, they still have chemicals in them. Everybody here has smelled off-gassing. When you paint a room, that smell, that is off-gassing. And everybody will say, open the doors and let the smell out and come back in a couple of days, and then you can, live in the room, sleep in the room. But some of these products will continue off-gassing chemicals for an entire lifetime. I just wanted to read one little piece. Roma Bio paint is mold resistant because of the high alkalinity of the minerals which naturally prevent mold growth. All other paints, because they are not natural, that's why they add chemicals to it. I have a couple of examples of this beautiful blue, beautiful colors, beautiful paint, and non-toxic. These are some of the labels that you should be looking for if you are going out to purchase some products for your home. The Global Organic Latex Standard. And that is, these guys investigate a clear path from the farm or the farmer to the manufacturer, and they mandate that these guys follow mandatory social and environmental regulations for all products. So the latex could be the latex in your furniture, the latex in your mattress. So this is a great standard. The next one beside that is the Global Organic Textile Standard. That icon is for organic cotton. I have a story for you. A lady up in North Texas, like North Texas, up nearly into Oklahoma. Young girl, parents were cotton farmers. Met an amazing man, his parents were cotton farmers. They got married, had children, life was great. Her husband was 48 when he wasn't well, and they went to the doctor. The doctor told them that he had a tumor on his brain. She was like, okay, let's head off down to MD Anderson. And the doctor's like, no, actually, we actually are pretty well have investigated this kind of tumor here. And went on to tell her that the tumor he had been linked to pesticides. And as a kid, and as a young adult, and as an adult, that's what he did. He would spray their cotton crop with pesticides. Her husband did not make his 50th birthday. Once she got up and running again, she changed their whole farm to organic cotton and started the Global Organic Textile Standard. So organic cotton farmers in the United States, and we have one of the biggest organic cotton farms right here in Texas, up North Texas. They send all their organic cotton to her, and it's like an organic co-op. And that's where sheets, blankets, and our clothes, a lot of the organic cotton comes from Texas. Green Guard Gold, they certify that products have low chemical emissions. I wish it was no chemical emissions, but we're not there yet. So Green Guard certification ensures that a product has met some of the world's most rigorous and comprehensive standards for low emissions of volatile organic compounds into indoor use. These guys investigate furniture, flooring, window shades, upholstery, textiles. The next one we have is the Forest Stewardship Council. So the Forest Stewardship Council, their certification ensures that products come from responsibly managed forests that provide environmental, social, and economic benefits. So somebody comes in and tears down a load of trees, these guys go back and make sure that those trees are replaced. Eco Texas, their standard is pretty amazing. They do chemically safe, sustainable, but they also do crop protection. If you have a shirt on or a dress or a coat or a jacket, they have, if something has this logo, this stamp on it, they have tested the zipper, the buttons, the snaps, the interlining, the lining, the fabric. They have tested it all. So they are a phenomenal research for products if you're looking for a product like this. OECO Tex, OEKO-TEX. So I'd like to jump on now and give you a bunch of tips on things you can do in your home. I have a paper flyer that's going around. I don't like waste, so I printed out like about a half a dozen. Please take them. If you would like to get them via email, I will definitely email the list out to you early this week. And happy to answer any questions when we get here. So this is one of the quickest, easiest, maybe funnest ways that you can remove toxins from your home. Put a mat on the outside of your door and on the inside of your door. Because you may go out for a walk and you may not have chemicals sprayed on your lawn, but your neighbors might. So you will track those back through and into your home. So when you get home, wipe your feet on the outdoors, step in on the outdoor mat, step inside, and wipe your feet on the indoor mat. The second tip is to leave your shoes at the front door. I know this is a pretty picture of shoes at the front door. It doesn't have to be that pretty. You can just drop them and run. Another product that I just shake my head when I see people spraying air fresheners, if they have air fresheners in their car, if they have the air fresheners that spout out fragrances every couple of hours. Because it's the fragrance that have the chemicals in it. And when you see fragrance, they don't have to list what the chemicals are. If you really want a beautiful smell in your home, purchase an essential oil diffuser and purchase a reputable essential oil. And that's what you should use to scent your home. If you jump online and Google, you will find air fresheners for your car that have actually melted the dashboards on cars. So if it can melt plastic. Another easy, quick way, and I know here in Austin we deal a lot with allergies. High oak, everything's yellow at the moment. But when allergies are low, open your window, let the fresh air in. Create a cross ventilation in your home, and that will release some of those buildup of chemicals that are off-gassing from products in your home. As I mentioned earlier, the EPA state our inside air is 2 to 5 times, sometimes 100 times more toxic than the outdoor air. So you want to get those toxic chemicals, those off-gassings out into the air, out into the outside. Anybody here use wool dryer balls? Okay. Wool dryer balls are for static. And we buy the sheets and we throw them in our washing machines or in our dryers, and then we throw them out. Again, it's the fragrances that have the chemicals in them. So I recommend for dryers, purchase wool dryer balls. They recommend 3 to 4 wool dryer balls. I leave them in my dryer all the time. Mine, 3 years maybe, you'll get out of 3 or 4 wool dryer balls. If you want a scent on your, and you don't want to give up the scent you're used to, you can put essential oils on these wool dryer balls, pop them into the dryer, and then that will be where you'll get your scent. So I said my family of farmers. I had the wool dryer balls, and I brought the dryer balls home to my brother for his dryer. And I got talking to him about scent. And here I was like thinking before I'd gone home, maybe I should see if I can get a scent in the balls. And I was afraid to put the essential oils on. So I went over to Walgreen and I bought some needles and I tried to inject essential oils into the the balls. Wasn't very successful. So I'm telling my brother, the farmer, my dilemma. And he said, oh, I have some needles which were for animals, which had a nice big thick needle on them. So I came back and I dropped some essential oils in and injected the essential oils into my wool dryer balls, and it worked out perfect. But what I learned since then is lots of people do put essential oils on the balls, and it doesn't do anything. It doesn't damage clothes or anything. So it's definitely the way to go. As I mentioned earlier, we spend about a third of our lives sleeping, and not everybody can go out and buy a new mattress. And I sort of did the math on it. I got a bit geeky on this one. There's about over 300 million people in this country. Everybody has their own mattress. Most people have a second or a spare bedroom in their home. Plus we have prison mattresses, hospital mattresses, dorm room mattresses, hotel mattresses, and there's another one, like motels, I guess, guest houses. So I reckon there's about 900 million mattresses in the country. And can you imagine if everybody dumped their mattresses out? We wouldn't be able to see anything above a pile of mattresses for miles and miles. So the tips for your mattress are: purchase an organic mattress topper or a mattress pad, an organic mattress pad. And then you will be just that little bit further away from the toxins that are in your mattress. But when it comes the time to purchase a mattress, purchase one that has no toxic chemicals in it. Pillows are another thing I'd recommend if you're going out to buy something. So a mattress topper and pillows, sheets, and blankets. So you're looking for the organic standard for your sheets. You're looking for maybe if your pillows are latex fill, you're looking for like the organic latex. If there's anybody that you know that is in this field, I would love to know about them. I've started a group where I bring in architects, builders, interior designers, and we talk about all the products, and we share information, and we are growing the industry to inform you all about these products and get them out there. The more people that buy them, I understand some of these things are more expensive than others, but the more people that buy them, the more people that know about them, manufacturers will be able to reduce their price. So if you know architects, builders, consultants, furniture guys, interior designers, landscape architects, stores even, that are involved in the green industry, that want to bring healthy products to the masses, I'd love for you to email me, let me know, tell me after this. And if you'd like to follow us, we are on Instagram. You can like us on Facebook. We promote products, we promote people. And if you have any questions, we're open to questions.
Okay, so I'm going to bring the microphone around to you. If you have a question, please make sure you're speaking right into the microphone.
Hello, my name is Richard Halpin. Thank you so much for this fantastic and critically important life-saving presentation.
Thank you, Richard.
Mattresses, do you have any names of recommendations of mattresses? Well, actually, that's important, but my real question is, this is a life-changing health issue, and how come we don't get more of it in the newspapers and more of the media? How can we advance this story?
So there are some companies out there that are dedicated to bringing this information. I feel like years ago it was when they used to say smoking didn't cause cancer, but we all know now that it does. And I think it's just bubbling up now. And I think the young people, like the college students, are more involved in the environment than ever before, plastic reduction. I think those are the younger people that are going to bring this to the forefront.
The bigger question is, how do we promote this story into the media much larger than it is now?
That's what I'm trying to do. Coming here, presenting to you guys, I give presentations at cancer groups. I've given presentations at Whole Foods. I'll be giving one at Earth Day. If you have more ideas for me to get it out here, filming this, getting this out, I do through social media. Daily, this is what I do to inform people. I love any feedback. If anybody has any locations where they would like me to present to another group, I'd be happy to. Thank you.
And before our next question, I wanted to mention there is a clipboard going around if you want to sign up, and I do have cards to pass out at the end.
Hi, thank you so much. That was a great presentation. So my question is about the receipts that we receive at grocery stores, receipts, because someone told me that they had endocrine disruptive qualities, and it was better not to take those really thin, papery receipts, because once you get it on your hand, it's really even hard to wash it off. So do you have any knowledge of this?
Yes, so my oncologist, through that group, that's one of the things that I was informed about. It is the ink, and it will soak into your hands and into your bloodstream, and it is an endocrine disruptor, as are a lot of the products that I mentioned when Caroline introduced us earlier. I talk about cancer because that's my journey, but a lot of these chemicals are endocrine disruptors, hormone disruptors, and cause asthma, lots of other problems. Was that?
Pat Beulah, and we had our house built in '98 and didn't know much about low VOC, etc. And if we have it painted now over that, is that going to protect us very much or not?
Yes, because it will seal in. But so you built your house in the 90s, when would have been the last time you painted it? Would it?
We haven't since.
Yeah. So that's, do the math on it. I mean, it's quite a few years. Off-gassing, when you buy your brand new car, I mean, I've done it. You get in and you, oh my God, I love the smell of the new car. That's off-gassing. And why we smell that is because car windows are, from where they're manufactured, they're closed up. So that's why that smell, and that smells around for a couple of years, maybe 2 years. But after time, it off-gasses, and it will be less. So yes, your home has off-gassed over the years. But if you go in and put on a healthier paint, yes, that will help keep whatever off-gassing is going to happen. It will keep it at bay, keep it away.
Is it still going?
There are chemicals that will off-gas for their entire lifetime, yes.
Thank you for a very interesting presentation. I'm Jim Grice. I'm concerned about the building material issue because so much of what is used in building is laminated, that is held together with binders, adhesives, the sheathing that's around the house, etc. It would seem almost impossible or incredibly expensive to replace that with materials that would not outgas. So the question is, where would you put the materials that are critical, and would you use at all those that are outgassing, say outside? Is there any way to divide that, or you want to try to make everything so that there was none of this dangerous outgassing?
Okay, can you just, ask that question again?
Well, the question is, when you talked about furniture, I can see building furniture with solid materials, et cetera, not a problem there. When you talk about building a house, a great deal of what the house is made of is laminated material. I don't mean plastics, that's another story, but wooden laminates, like plywood, that has this material in it. It would be very hard to build a house without the sheathing, et cetera. What are your suggestions on that, and is that critical?
I believe, so there are some products out there that are less toxic. There are companies out there that are creating healthier products for building the homes. And I know we've had this huge big boom in Austin, and I wish every house in the last 10 years that was built with this boom was built with the healthier products. Was there another part to that question that I missed?
No, that's mainly, it's just a question. In order to get it completely out, you have to have the entire industry change their
Yes, yes, yes.
Can you repeat his question?
So you basically are asking if we need the whole industry to change how they make products for the building industry for building homes. And that would be phenomenal. I mean, that would be 5 stars in my book. It's going to be a slow, long process. I mean, some of these companies have been around for years. They're worth billions. And it's going to be a slow haul. But Austin is a great place. We have great companies, architects, builders, interior designers, for example, that are doing the work. Anybody here familiar with the Cool House Tour? Yeah. So the Cool House Tour is usually in June, the middle of June, about 6, 7 houses, and the houses are usually built. I mean, they have solar and non-toxic or less toxic. They're not all 100% perfect, but it is definitely a huge movement on homes that are less toxic, more sustainable, have solar, that are healthier for us to live in.
My name is Trish O'Day. Here, I'll hold it. It's okay. And I'm with a group of doctors and nurses here in Austin. We developed a program called the Toxic Free Child, and through the auspices of the Episcopal Health Foundation, gave us funds to do that. And we have taught it as a pilot program in some of the nonprofits here in town with low-income pregnant women. And other than that, it is really hard to get the message out. We've gone to the Travis County Medical Society. We've offered all the curriculum, the instructor guide, all the materials are out on our website. And very rarely is it picked up to be taught. We're hoping that this kind of information will be used in just everyday regular well child visits or pregnancy visits. The kinds of things that we talked about with low-income women are more simple, perhaps, like avoiding pesticides when the landlord comes in to spray. They had no control when the landlord comes in. No control over what kind of paint is used when the landlord comes to paint. But they can control, like not using Tupperware in the microwave, things like that, or choosing fragrance-free cosmetics. So any advice for reaching low-income population?
Yeah, just exactly what you said, and it is the low income that are usually hit the most, because people that have a higher income can go out, and once they hear this, they can go out and make quick changes. Opening your doors and windows, having your kids take off your shoes when they come in. I would love to connect with you afterwards and talk this through and see what we can do together. I'm happy to go out and talk. Children's toys, same thing, plastics. Those little plastic chairs that people buy for their kids and grandkids, they're off-gassing from the plastics, but they're also going to be dumped in our oceans. I mean, it's huge. We need to do step by step. I'm happy to talk with you. Plastics are another huge one for Tupperware. You know, and educating people to put their food in glass containers, to carry glass bottles, not to use straws, plastic bottles. It's just a whole big wave that we need to educate people.
I had another question. we have a filter, and it filters out a lot of dust and that kind of thing. Does that help any with the off-gassing? Do you know those filters that I'm talking about?
Yeah. They wouldn't help with the off-gassing from the products because that's just filtering the water. But definitely, we have one. Everybody should have water filters in their home, I believe. Oh, air filter. Sorry, I thought you said water filter. I apologize. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Those help. They definitely do.
The off-gassing?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes. Yes, they help with the off-gassing. The air filters help with off-gassing.
Yes, I'm Dale Beulah. Is there a kit that you can buy to put in your home that tells you what's in your air? Like you can test water and find out what's in there, but do they have a kit that you could put in your house, or maybe has a fan that blows the air through to let people see what they are breathing?
Mm-hmm. That is a good question. I have never been asked that before, and I don't know, and I don't have one from my home, but that is a fantastic question. I will look into that, and Dale, did you put your name down for email address? Okay, I will look into that, and I will get that information back to you.
Yes, my name is Luther Elmore. Once again, thank you so much for being with us today. You referenced off-gassing and particularly the new car smell. Have there been any studies about the rate of deterioration? For instance, how long does it take for that to get to an acceptable level, just like with your mattress and just like those formaldehyde-laden trailers that FEMA gave to the folks in New Orleans? Yeah. After 5 years or what is the rate of deterioration? Have there been any studies about that?
There are some studies. I wouldn't be off the top of my head to be able to tell you exactly what the numbers are, but my understanding is that it will off-gas the most in the first months, years, depending on the size of the product, whether it's the plastic chair for a kid's room or it's a whole house. And then over time it will continue, but I don't know numbers, I don't know dates, time frames. And some chemicals will off-gas and be done, and others just continue to off-gas for the lifetime.
Shirley Weiler. I'm having a kitchen remodel, and a couple of weekends ago the contractor was trying to match my old wood paneling on a fiberglass door, and he used a bunch of different colors of paint, and the smell was so strong I was afraid to leave my puppy in there at night, so I left the fan on. And I'm just wondering, the smell isn't quite as strong 3 weeks later, but do you have a suggestion? Should I have him buy some different paint or just take the door out? Or
I recommend, so he just painted the door?
Right, he's trying to get turns out I had a inside door for an outside, what should have been an outside door. So instead of getting a solid wood door, he got a fiberglass door that was white, just sort of stuck out like a sore thumb. So he's trying to use different colors of paint to simulate the wood paneling that's all around the room. And the smell of the paint was so strong, I left the ceiling fan going for a couple of weeks.
So that is chemicals off-gassing.
Yeah.
I mean, you would have to make that decision whether you wanted to just paint over that door or get a new door. I mean, it's different for everybody. Yes, I definitely would have taken my pet out of there too. There are stories out there of pets that have been seriously ill by off-gassing from flooring, other products.
Hi, I'm Bruce Naylor, and I really appreciate you coming here and speaking to us about this. And I have a sensitive metabolism.
You have, sorry?
A sensitive metabolism to all sorts of things. And so it seems like the low-hanging, return to a topic you've been over a couple of times, but just go a little deeper. Low-hanging fruit is bedding.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, replacing a mattress, that's a bigger deal, but replacing sheets and pads, that's very, very doable. Is the bedding that would be appropriate sold in any of the standard retail outlets, or do you have to just get on the internet and order things over the internet?
So I bought mine when was a store here in town, and it is not here anymore in town. They don't, yeah. Okay. I've heard that Target have organic sheets. I don't know. I haven't been in. I haven't looked at them. I don't know if they have a stamp on them. But if you jump on there, they have an amazing list of mattresses and products, blankets, for example, that they have really studied and figured out that they are one of the best. It's called the Clean Bedroom is the name. It is, but they're not here anymore. They have 2 stores now up, one in New York City and one in Maine, I believe. But they were here for a bunch of years, but they're gone.
Okay, we have time for one more quick question.
Hi, my name is Michael Donowski, visiting the church here today, and appreciate your presentation. Just curious about laundry products and stain removers. I've heard that they're very toxic. A little bit about that.
Yes, they are, like you just mentioned, very sensitive to products. And I have just had to stay away from those for years and years and years. Those are, yes, chemical-laden products. Maybe I'm not like a messy eater. We don't have kids, we don't have dogs, so I don't feel like I have the need for something like that. But yes, laundry detergent. I mentioned earlier, they're called Eco. And I just drop those in a little bag, and pop them in the washing machine. It's a little cotton bag. The Eco Nuts have surfactants in them, which is, what's in soap. So that's what I put in my washing machine. So I don't use any detergents, any products like that that are sensitive, or that have scents or anything to them. You're welcome.
Okay, we are about out of time. Thank you very much for coming and presenting this very thought-provoking topic to us today. Think you'll stick around and answer some more questions
Yes.
off record. Also, we have more cards and some handouts, so I'll bring the clipboard back up to the front. Thank you, Catherine.
Thank you very much. Thank you all for having me. Thank you. Thank you.